So, hold up. What in the actual hell did I just witness with Chainsaw Man episode number 9? Because I think I've had a very consistent opinion on Makima as a character. On one hand, an amazing character. Keyword character makes for a great what the hell moment in any particular scene she's a part of. But as a person, she's beyond manipulative. But up to this point, I would say she's manipulative. She uses people to get where she wants to go. But after seeing Twister, I have to say, prior to this episode, a person like Makima, you wouldn't want to touch with a 100-foot pole, unless you're down bad like my boy Denji and he thinks it's true love and she loves him right back. We know it's obviously manipulation. After this episode, seeing what she did, especially given the impression that it left me with how she knew a lot of this very well could happen, and now that she's the overall leader of the remaining divisions, I wouldn't even want to be on the same planet as her. I'd be booking the first Mars trip that's available because holy shit, man. I was expecting some crazy shit to happen in this episode. I mean, you don't end last week with the whole snake, katana, devil, where the hell's Denji unless you do something with it, but this one definitely surpassed expectations. Now, there's a full live reaction available on my Patreon. Definitely a couple of speechless moments while watching for sure, but what an episode, man, because Makima and Denji, everyone knew they were coming back, right? There's no way a character like Makima gets hyped up as much as she does to only just be oddly weird and manipulative up to that point of her seemingly death. So you knew she was going to survive, and Denji, someone just needed to rip the cord, and as we saw, little ghost hand, last final moment, did just that. But the one death that seemed there was no reversing, it was, of course, the unfortunate sacrifice where someone who thought Aki would just be the next partner she would have to bury now ends up Aki's gonna have to bury her, and there's no body to even bury, it's just the clothes that are left. And to see how they quickly dealt with something that very much felt impossible to deal with, because when you look at Denji and obviously this katana devil, right, they have a very similar design. They, like, the blades come out at almost the exact same spots. The main difference is that the Chainsaw Devil has spinning, rotating blades, where he just has sharp blades. So, on paper, if you were to take a step back and know nothing about this show, who would you bet money on? Most likely, people would probably, a majority, say the Chainsaw Devil. Looks like they're very similar in scale and power, but one has rotating blades. But the issue is that Denji's not like a trained killer or someone who's been doing this for long enough. So as we see the speed and the precision of how he deals with him, I mean, we get some very, very good animation with this fight. I mean, Denji at the very beginning was actually doing relatively good. He had a bit of a psycho moment saying, ooh, you're bad guy, so I get to kill you without feeling any remorse. And I'm like, god damn, so psycho level. I mean, first of which we had that kind of like the prison, the time prison that they're in, where he was fighting for days and just being a psycho, and now he's saying shit like that. Like, the Chainsaw Devil is definitely going inside his head, and, you know, just the shit he's doing now, especially given where he was mentally prior to this. Like, he's mentally, you know, not in a great headspace, but for an animation spectacle, it's fantastic. And the fact that in a very typical fashion, but how they quickly make it not typical, Denji grabs one of the bad guys. This is one of your own, right? You know, you wouldn't hurt him. And instead of just going like a shot to the face or a stab to the gut, he literally cuts both of them in half. And I have to say, this was one of the funnier moments. This is one of those moments that it's not really funny because it's supposed to be a joke, but it's one of the most awkward what else can you do moments. He grabs him like a chainsaw with just from his stomach up to his head, and he's like, I'll take him to the car, more or less. And I'm like, that is so brutally disgusting, but it is so amazing. And to see how Makima, because immediately they start talking like, oh shit, did you deal with her? And I'm like, why are you guys so scared of her? Like, I know why I'm worried about her. She just seems like manipulative. The thing with Denji, the way he popped back up, he got his chainsaw ripped, right? You know, it revved up and he transformed. Makima, when she popped up after getting shot in the head seemingly, she didn't transform. She didn't look any different. What the hell is going on with her, and what is she possessed by? Because we know Denji has the Chainsaw Devil, but I mean, there's no human who can do that shit, and I got no answers. But the fact that you have the most frightening character, in my opinion, It's not the Gun Devil. Don't get me wrong, the shit the Gun Devil can do and what we've heard about or even got a glimpse of is insane. It's literally an apocalypse level demon. The thing is though, I think Makima is the most terrifying character because there's something about normal, something about someone who doesn't act like a psycho. It's not the Joker, not having fun with anything, but just so stone-faced. And there's these little glimmers of psycho where the eyes slightly change. As she's going down the line of bodies, as she's killing one by one, you see her look a little more crazy as it goes on, but the more you stare at her, the more lifeless she feels. And for this being a drawing, right, it's very easy to make any character look either alive or dead for a drawing. But the in-between that they're able to make with the detail, it's the eyes. The eyes are, you know, they're considered the window to the soul, right? And the fact that this team is going about Makima's design in such a way that she feels so disturbing, not because of her laughing or her cutting apart someone, but the fact that she's so cool, calm, and collected saying, repeat the name, and then she'll do a hand motion, and then we'll see what's happening to the person as they get compressed into nothing. The only thing left is some blood and the clothing. And I have to say, if you go frame by frame, which I did when I was gathering screenshots for this, it is disturbingly detailed how in they went with the organs and the blood splatter and everything. And the fact that they didn't even stop it right there, but the fact that our girl comes in with nothing but a knife, I'm thinking, okay, there's no way you're gonna kill her, but also I'm not expecting her to run across a giant serpent, cut off an arm, grab my boy Denji using it as a shield, as the rest of them flee. But that was the icing or the cherry on top moment, because this episode surpassed expectations. Everyone and their mother who's watching Chainsaw Man expected something crazy this week, but the fact that it was not one big moment but multiple, and I think the thing that I really like about Chainsaw Man's action is it's not the typical formation of, okay, here's a really big endgame level boss, here's 10 minutes of action, or 2 episodes worth of action just with this one thing. Action can end and begin just like that. And the fact that getting the jump on them as they seemingly are bringing Denji with them, the fact that they start getting obliterated or a girl cuts off an arm, they quickly retreat. And the fact that action typically doesn't last longer than like 5 minutes at most before transitioning to the next scene, seeing the next character, it keeps it really fast-paced, really realistic in the face of so much demonic activity, but given the circumstances and what we know of this world, it feels realistic given their environment. And I mean, I gotta hand it to Mappa. This is hands down, I think, their best produced anime they've ever done. I mean, this is literally a super team. It's crafted with the best of the best or up-and-coming talent that were given the opportunity to really flex their craft. And I think this is probably one of the best produced anime that I think I've experienced. The blend of 2D meets 3D, the effects, the pacing and everything, it just feels like such a passion project. And I have no idea how many chapters they're planning on covering for this season. I actually want to ask any manga readers watching, how many seasons of Chainsaw Man would it take to complete the first part? Because I know Chainsaw Man like ended and then it started back up with like a part 2 or something like that. So how many episodes would it take? Because from what I'm seeing, it still feels like there's a lot left to tell, but with the pacing of the story in general, I can't quite put my finger on how many seasons of an anime they would need to cover this first part. Would it be 2 cores? Would it be 3 cores? I don't know. So I do want to pass that question over to everyone, among just obviously your general thoughts, of course, because the more I watch of this, the more I say I have literally no idea how long characters will actually be around for and where the story is actually heading outside of just killing the Gun Devil and maybe Makima's true intentions, motivations. Besides that, I have literally no idea. But for going from slice of life Denji adventures to this, that's why I love this show. But like I said, I'm going to pass the torch over to you. Let me know what you're feeling. The question as well, please answer that if you do know, of course. So do let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Like I mentioned, full live reaction is available on the Patreon. You can also get video shoutouts like a few are about to get here. So we got Manor, Quells, and Christian Beltron. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.